A very good morning, dear students. Sister Evita here. So, we are here with yet another poem, that is Your World by Georgia Douglas Johnson. Now, before coming to the poem, let's look into the poet. What was she like? Georgia Blanche Douglas Cam Johnson. This is her full name. She is better known as Georgia Douglas Johnson. She was an African American poet, one of the earliest African American female playwrights. One who writes plays is called as playwrights, and an important participant in the Harlem Renaissance. Renaissance means, you might have been heard, Renaissance. What's the meaning of the word Renaissance? It's a kind of new awakening which happened in the Europe. It was an intellectual, social and artistic explosions centered in Harlem, New York, spanning in 1920s. Renaissance means a kind of rebirth in every sphere, in art, in the way people thought, in the society, and in everything. In 1920s, when we think about that, that is in African Renaissance. But in the European Renaissance was in the 18th century, where they began to think differently than the kind of stereotyped thinking regarding the world, regarding what to say, everything. Even art was a kind of just maybe art of the nature. So, in short, in simple language, if I have to tell you, she was a person, one of the members among a group of people who brought about a kind of different way of thinking, different way of renovation in the society. Now, she was focusing on the feminist themes. Feminist means like motherhood, love, loneliness, and imagination. All these things where the women are given importance. You all know earlier, even now in some of the places, even in India, we can understand girl children are not given any importance in society. So, what about much longer years? So, this was a woman who had the courage to speak about women and how women could feel. And she also brought about another theme, that is racism. Now, you should always keep in mind that she was an African American. What do you mean by African American? By birth, she is an African, but maybe living in America. So, there was, even now, there is a lot of a kind of racism that is going on. Recently, very recently, 2-3 weeks ago, and still it's going on. Most of you might have been witnessed a man, an African, was choked on his neck by an American police officer and he was killed. He says, I want to breathe, and he died. So, it's a perfect example of racism still going on. Okay, Africans were not even considered to be human beings. From such kind of background is this woman is writing this poem. So we should keep in mind the background of the poem and the black family. They were called black Negroes and a lot of oppression, and that was the time when there was slavery. So Africans were taken as slaves to the European countries, even to Asian countries, including like Arabian countries. So with all this in mind, this woman has written this poem called Your World. Now when we come to the poem, you will understand what she is really meaning. So, with lot of oppression, lot of suppression, lot of slavery in mind, she has written this poem. So please keep that background in mind when we begin with the poem. And perhaps she personally interested in exploring and emphasizing the female sexuality. Earlier times, They could never even think of speaking about female sexuality or sensuality, how beautiful she is, or even in a kind of the feminine way of thinking. Women were considered to be only an object of pleasure for men. They never could appreciate their own sexuality, and much less for black women. They could never think of the black women who had any kind of beauty. They, the white world, could never find any beauty in them. They were only used for sexual pleasure. But this poet, Georgia, was able to write about it. So her poem also resisted a patriarchal sexuality that designated women as a male property. Patriarchal means the manly. Women were considered to be the property of men, only to enjoy. So she resisted that in her poetry. So like that, a lot and lot to speak about this woman poet. So from that kind of thinking, background, she has come to this short poem which has so much to speak about the freedom that she longs for. Coming to the poem, Your World. I want all of you to listen to me once and then read by yourself. Your world. See the heading itself, you read 2 to 3 times. Your world. What is your world? We are not talking about the world you are living in. We are not talking about the planet. We are not talking about the earth. We are talking about your world. It's very important, the title itself. Coming to the poem, your world is as big as you make it. Please underline the words, your world and you make it. I know, for I used to abide in the narrowest nest in a corner, my wings pressing close to my side. But I sighted the distant horizon where the skyline encircled the sea, and I throbbed with a burning desire to travel this immensity. I battered the cordons around me and cradled my wings on the breeze, then soared to the uttermost reaches with rapture, with power, with ease. Coming to the poem, your world is as big as you make it. So what's the meaning of this first line? Your world is as big as you make it. That one line itself gives us so much. Your world is as big as you make it. It's absolutely in your hand, your world. Everyone, every human being has his or her own little world, which is each one's personal world. Your world may be your joys, your sorrows, your friends, your secrets. So like that. So that is your world. Now, how big should be your world? Now, for example, your heart, okay? You draw a picture of your heart and draw one circle around it, and you write the names of those who are very, very, very close to your heart. Perhaps maybe 3 or 4 names may appear. Your own parents, sure to appear there, it should be, and your own brothers and sisters, those who are very, very close to you, and maybe, I do not know, maybe your closest friends, and then make another round and you write the names of some more people who are not that close, but those who you can say your friends, so-called friends, and count and see how many you have. So like that, how many circles will you be able to make sincerely? Then your hobbies, so that is your world. Now the question is, how big is your world? Your aims, your dreams, So much. Your world is as big as you make it. When I talk about this one line, there is an essay I can talk about it. Think of Kalpana Chawla. You have all heard about it, right? She is dead. But why do we still think of her? An ordinary woman. Because her world reached the space. Think of Dr. Abdul Kalam. Among millions and billions of people, why do we think of very few? Because their world was so big. And who made that world? It is they. So, my dear children, your world is as big as you make it. The poet says, I know I used to abide in the narrowest nest in a corner. She says, I know what I said in the first line. So she used to, in the beginning as a girl, she also was like most of us. I used to abide. Abide means live. In the narrowest, see the word narrowest. It's a superlative degree. Narrowest nest in a corner. In the most closed, in my own little world, in a corner. Underline those words, narrowest and corner. Okay, in a nest. She did not even use the word a room. Okay, she said nest. Nest, we know what is nest. Usually the birds sit, right? No human being can fit into. See the kind of words that is used. It's a kind of imagery. My wings pressing close to my side. She uses again. It was like her goal was impossible to reach. My wings pressing close to my side. I had no courage to open my wings. I had no chance to open my wings. So, read once more those 4 lines. Your world is as big as you make it. Actually, the first line should be the end. She has gone through a kind of suppressed life and then she has come to the realization. That is what her realization has come as the first line. I hope that you are getting me. Okay. Your world is as big as you make it. Then she begins to say what she was like. I know, for I used to be like any of you. I too was sitting in a corner. I thought myself, you should always keep in mind, she is a black woman. How much oppression. And she is a black, a woman. So all this suppression as a girl, she had hidden herself to the narrowest corner, close to her wings. She couldn't even think or imagine that she could spread her wings. Then what happened? But, that but is very important here. I sighted the distant horizon. Okay, sighted. She looked the distant far horizon. Horizon means you know. What is the meaning of horizon? From wherever you are, when you look to the sky's furthest end, you will see the horizon where the sun rises and sun sets, where the skyline encircled the sea. Those of you who have seen the sea, the sky and the sea meets. That is where our eyes can reach, the furthest end. So, she looked, I sighted, I saw, and I throbbed with a burning desire. Throbbed means jumped. A kind of throbbing. We say heart throbs, right? When it beats hard. A burning desire. Underline the word burning. My desire to reach somewhere was burning, to succeed in life. The desire was burning, not a simple one. I had a great desire. She says that I throbbed. So the word meaning of throbbed is jumped with a burning desire. To travel this immensity, she said, I want to travel to that immensity, immense, immeasurable, extremely large, to the great, great world. So she says, I throbbed with immensity. So, with that desire, she wanted to travel to the end of the world. Her dream was not small, to travel to the nearby state or nearby country, but she says she wants to reach the end of the world. Now, coming to the third stanza, I battered. Battered means damage or broke something by hitting it hard repeatedly. That's what the meaning given here. I battered the cordons around me. Cordons means the obstacles or the impediments preventing her to reach her goal. Now, what she might have been battered as she wanted to fly high, she had to break certain things. First of all, the nest. Now, what was the nest? The kind of restrictions that she had in her life as a girl, as a black woman, and as a woman herself in a society, as a poet. So she had to break all these chains in order to reach her goal. I battered the cordons around me. Cordons means obstacles, okay? Obstacles preventing her to access to reach something where she wanted. Suppose you want, or you might have seen in the picture, how the missiles and the rockets are sent, Agni, all those rockets, missiles, the recent ones, see the fire down, furthest it goes high. So when you have that much of desire in your mind, then only you can go ahead in life. When you watch the rockets, how it goes, you will see with what force and energy it starts, so that nothing may stop it. It can go and pierce the cosmos, and it can reach up to the space. It needs that much of energy from within. So, the same way, okay? And cradles my wings on the breeze. See, cradled like a gentle wind I was. So, once when it is taken above the earth, even the winds, she was like in a cradle, and the wind was taking her ahead. The earthly bond, that is, earth is considered to be the gravity. The gravity is what? That is holding us back to the earth. Now, in this poem, the gravity, something that held her back is the kind of restriction, the kind of blockage. Now, those of you who are girls, nowadays there is a lot of freedom for girls, but still some parents may say, you are a girl, don't go out in the night. See, don't. There are so many don'ts. So that is the kind of binding that is earthly. Once you break all that, and when you are able to fly high, you can be floating in the air. So that is what she says. And cradled my wings on the breeze. The sword, soaring high. Soar means fly high to the uttermost. Please underline the word uttermost. It's again superlative degree. Uttermost reaches means to the places which are extremely far. Can you ever imagine a black woman, one who lived and died? We are studying about her. We are learning about her. See, she has reached that height, okay? She was born in Africa, an African American, and you are sitting here in this India, in Jharkhand, in Chaibasa. You are learning her poem. See how she has reached with rapture. Rapture means a kind of intense joy with power, with ease. She said, I was able to reach to the extreme end with joy, with power, from powerlessness to power, from sadness to joy, and with ease, from difficulty, from heaviness to ease. So, this is the poem. So, please read once more the poem, and then you will know how she was able to, how the poet shows how wonderful it is to succeed your goal, how wonderful it is to pursue your dream. All of you, what does she want to tell you through this poem is that, see, all of us have the potential to reach, succeed in life. Then, after this line should come the first line. Your world is as big as you make it. It is up to you to reach wherever you want. You think that I want only this much. See, suppose you are desiring, I want only 10 rupee. You will work for only 10 rupee. But if you desire for 1 lakh, you will work for that 1 lakh. So, how much you want, that much you can succeed. And she is trying to tell you to expand your world. Don't hesitate it. Think big. It has to inspire you. Your spirit has to grow. Now, you are in 8th standard, right? So, you should think to become somebody big. You may be an IAS or IPS to that level. Then only you will be able to succeed in your life. You will become someone in life. Don't hesitate to dream big.